Stage is yours. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you. And it's a great pleasure to welcome Dr. Gopi Kurup. He is the CEO of Axiata Enterprise. He leads and manages the Axiata Group Enterprise Strategy, which is the emerging business technology partnerships, platforms, and also is responsible for grow all the regional enterprise client segments in Axiata Group. And today I'm absolutely glad to have him here. We would be discussing the opportunities in the enterprise segment around 5G. It's an area which is perhaps one of the most important segment for us in the for not just for Axiata but for the entire industry it seems. So welcome, Gopi, and absolutely pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. So Gopi, the first question perhaps is about what do you think about the enterprise market today, particularly of the region that you come from? How is the private wireless networks and 5G transforming the industries, and what's the opportunity there for a company like Axiata?
It's very relevant for where we operate in. We find quite a lot of excitement in the industry, especially around infrastructure, around mining. And we have a great start to that because these industries are new, they don't have a legacy. So being able to introduce tech for their own business impact has been very exciting for us. I was sharing earlier with a crowd that things around mining, logistics for mining, we've been able to implement things like telematics to meet up with the OHSE criteria for global mining companies through private networks. So Axiata as a group in itself hasn't really sort of waited for 5G to turn up, but we've taken a very proactive method in using private networks to enable these industries and have a sort of a migratory path towards that. One of the more exciting ones which we've done is actually in Sri Lanka, where through the years of civil war, there's been a lot of mines throughout the country. And dialogues played a very active role in coming up with networks to help with the demining activities around that. And that's included things around, energy conservation within the demining equipment, ensuring that there's safety within people who are part of that operations. So we're very proud of doing those type of work in region.
Absolutely, and that's so fascinating to hear. And this market is evolving, right? I mean, what would have been there 5 years ago and what's there today, it would have changed. So, how much has the partnership model helped you to drive some of these successes?
Um, from a telco perspective, we've always used partnerships as a strategy for us in enterprise. We're quite clear from a telco perspective that we bring certain strengths outside of our own sort of networks, frequencies. We also have a very good network of people around in most of the parts which we operate in. They used to be very consumer centric. They used to be, just shop fronts for mobile. Those have completely evolved and they've become the sort of trust point in region for small businesses and larger ones to do that. We've got a great logistics network of being able to transport things around so that the telco brings quite strong elements into the market. But what's quite clear for us is to then have, a transformation conversation with a client, what that end result is going to be. We don't naturally have those resources in-house. So we work with quite a lot of consultative partners to be able to do that. And similarly, once projects are in place about delivery of these type of capabilities to do that. And on the delivery side, we've taken two approaches. We partner. We've also acquired some capability in region, predominantly around the IT transformation parts to do that. So partnership has been a very embedded DNA within at least the Axiata structure.
Yeah, and uh, uh, this is the question that just came to my mind. I mean, you are running in a region which perhaps has one of the world's most youngest population, whether it's Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Indonesia. So there's a massively emerging talent pool of people there. And does that excite you? I mean, does that actually make you wonder that sky's the limit?
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, we work out of the headquarters, but we really sort of derive our energy when we go to visit our operating companies and our clients. In most of the markets which we are in, like in Bangladesh, it's not only a young population, they are highly educated, they're highly energized. And over the pandemic period, what we've found is that they've just had multiple opportunities to work staying in Dhaka or in Bangladesh, but for clients and then partners outside of the region. So that's motivated for them to stay at home and then contribute to the global economy. And any part of that journey is exciting for us.
Exactly. And coming back to your, I know you are not waiting for 5G. You started off with wireless LTE enterprise, and also you are doing a lot of work around SD-WAN and enterprise connectivity. So, what are the specific verticals? You did talk about mines, logistics, and warehouses. We know we are you have a very strong business around ports as well. So, what are the different enterprises you see the maximum potential in the region?
And we view this from a market in perspective. Again, I go back to markets like Bangladesh or Indonesia, where there's a real top down push and appetite to modernize infrastructure. Um, Bangladesh is a specific example of that, both in the Chotaram and the Chittagong port. There's a understanding that they need to be able to get to sort of global standards in the logistics to do that. So infrastructure, particularly with ports, is an area which we're excited about, both seaports and airports to do it.
Perfect. And if I may add one of perhaps the final question for you today is when you see the market evolving and connectivity driving a lot of your decision making, but there is a lot of other technologies which enterprises will have to use, and there is a convergence that we see, whether it's AI, data, ICT technologies, IT network becoming the lines are blurring. So, as the CEO of your enterprise business, how do you manage or how do you envision your strategy around ensuring convergence of so many technologies?
Again, I think we go through strategy cycles, technology cycles. We have a lot of debate internally to where our investments and focus should be. But from an Axiata perspective, again, what really sort of teaches us what's happening is really just sort of having conversations with our own clients. Just sitting down with them and sort of understanding what are the pain points which they have has really given us a bit more of a practical approach towards our strategy. um, what's become quite clear is that it's almost a two by two matrix. You need a sort of an IT digitization transformation, which could be very basic, from moving email servers to the cloud, moving security, elements in, to be able to then support the more industry-based transformation. So we take this as a approach in most of the clients which we go to. That they might have a end goal or a need from their operations perspective, and then we start doing these assessments to see whether they even have the basics to be able to do that. And as I mentioned, I mean, we've tried to bring this type of capability as part of the suite of offerings which we've had through inorganic acquisitions too. So we have acquired 4 or 5 companies in region which provides that, and that helps us get into these accounts where we can get a bit more of a consultative sell to do that transformation.
Absolutely, that's great insight. And thank you so much, Dr. Gopi. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Any questions from anybody? Fortis, you have a question? Yeah.
It's great to hear you, Dr. Gopi. What are the types of use cases that you see your clients are requiring the logistics, ports, airports? That would be a great opportunity to use your networks, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, so one of the specific examples which we've done for Vale, which is the largest mining corp globally, is that they mine in Indonesia and they have a huge coal logistics port in Malaysia. And then, to be very open about that, they approached us with a technology solution. They wanted to be able to, again, meet all of their compliance levels globally to do that. We did. So we built up the networks for them. We linked up all of the trucks which were going around with video cameras inward facing because they needed the drivers to comply with, all of their safety standards. We had sensors put into the trucks to be able to do that. So that was a great learning exercise for us because we learned it from a tech in perspective. But having worked on that for 18, 24 months, it also became quite clear that we needed to know about the mining industry a lot more for what the next steps are going to be to do that. So we're starting to focus with that. And I hope with the relationship which we built up with CAP, that's something which we can also get into fairly quickly.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for attending. Thank you so much, Dr. Gul.